Welcome to Will It Work? I am Kevin. Today we're looking at the TV Jack 5000. So, this is a late, what I would call a Pong system, but it's not just Pong. It's a late edition where I believe it was General Instruments sold their Pong microchip and various other microchips revisions that they made, and they told game companies that were making these consoles, you know, you can take this chip and you can put it on a cartridge, and then you could just sell the cartridges as different games. Now, the difference between that and, say, an Atari 2600 was that, you know, where Atari 2600 took ROM cartridges, so it didn't actually have like a sort of a microchip on there like at the brain. It just had some memory on there that contained the game, and you know, they would plug that in and to the Atari, and the Atari would use its own processor and stuff to make the games happen. We are looking at this one here, and I believe, I'm trying to remember in my head, like, yeah, I'm trying to remember how this all works, but yeah, so, because there's different ones here, but, you know, this is from Japan, and it's from Bandai, so you might be familiar with Bandai, their Gundam, and they made video games of all sorts. So this is the last of the Video Jack series. It started off as basically being like a standalone Pong unit. It sort of evolved from like the, I don't know if it started at 1500, but I've seen a 1500 unit. And they went up, you know, in numbers, and then eventually they landed here. And this was before they, the system just before they went with the Bandai SuperVision 8000, not to be confused with the handheld SuperVision by Watara. The SuperVision 8000 kind of looks a little bit like Intellivision. I don't have one. They're pretty rare. People always talk about rare game systems, and you know, one of the rarest ones, you know, people always talk about is the Adventure Vision. But I tell you what, as a collector, I've seen Adventure Visions pop up on eBay once or twice a year, right? They're uncommon, but they appear. They do sell for a lot of money, and they're notorious for not being, you know, in great shape. But I mean, the fact of the matter is apparently, according to the sales numbers, they sold something like 50,000 of those things, and they're just in basements and attics everywhere, and the ones that survive, and so you know, and or they're in the warehouse that someone's going to find one day, and then they'll be, you know, for sale for $100. But yeah, I don't have one, and but it's not that great or anything like that. There are systems out there though that are I would say more rare than the Adventure Vision, and not necessarily a prototype. I mean, you know, that's part of the thing. Prototypes are always rare, but it's rare to see a Bandai 8000, right? It's not easy to find one of those. Trying to find like a Game King 3, pretty rare. You can find one on eBay. Costs you about $60,000 if you wanted to buy it off that guy. He's crazy. He's never going to get that money for it. But yeah, very limited release on those, and nothing special about it at all. But yeah. Anyway, there are very, very rare systems out there. I have gotten pretty close to owning all of the handheld units. I think at this point I'm probably missing 3, maybe. By the time this whole series is done, I may not even be missing that many. At least when it comes to standardized units, I don't think I'll be getting a Game King 3 anytime soon. But some things you can't do anything about when it's just gone. There's just some crazy in the world, and you know, it is what it is. But there's also something to be said for systems that were sort of American and commercially available, that had like commercials on TV and you saw them in stores and things like that. There's that nostalgia factor, which also happens to help with people wanting old systems and their rarity. You know, so that's probably why an AdventureVision sells for a lot, because it has standard games on it and that sort of thing, where something like a Game King, nobody's ever heard of it, you know, and it's not that big of a deal. Black and white matrix LCD kind of thing, tiny screen, handheld unit, Game Boy competitor, didn't last long, not great, etc. Anyway, so TV Jack 5000. This is very similar to, I believe we looked at a similar system. I don't know if we made it work or not, but it was the same kind of design in the sense that it took those cartridges with the RAM carts on them, and in essence, or, well, not RAM carts, but the CPU cartridge. In essence, they were the same because they used the same General Instrument processor. I do have one other one we're going to look at, or at least one other one, which is a Hanimex. We'll look at that later. I don't even know if that one works. I don't even know if this one works. Now, I will tell you one other thing about this. I have a few different Japanese systems, and I've been making videos through this series, and these Japanese systems connect to, you know, the RF out, and they tend to be on channel 1 or channel 2 on VHF. And the funny thing is that if you try to tune your old TV to channel 1, you can't in the United States. It doesn't exist. And you won't get a picture on channel 2. And I was really struggling with this, and I was trying to figure this out with some of the other units that I was looking at making videos on, and I could not get a picture. I could kind of get some fuzz here and there when I was messing around with the internals, but I could not get a picture. Well, it turns out, this is kind of weird, if you have an old TV and you change the TV to accept cable, right, like the antenna, instead of being over the air, you say I want to make it a cable signal. If you use like around channel 95 to 98, I think, that's where the frequency is that the Japanese use for channel 1 and channel 2. So we are going to try that today. We're going to try it first with this guy. And we'll see if we can get a picture. Now, it is RF, and it is going through some kind of weirdness to get it, you know, on these channel 95 through 98. So, you know, I'm not expecting us to get a great picture, but we'll be able to find out if it works. So, let's go ahead and open this one up really quick. So we have these cartridges. I've got 3 of them. I have 1, 2, and 4. Who knows what happened to 3? This one I think is mostly probably like your standardized Pong type games. You know, it has a overbuilt cartridge. We've seen this kind of thing before. Kind of snaps down, and then you get the circuit board right there, processors in there, etc. And then can't tell you what the names of these are. I'm sure they're on a website somewhere, but I don't have it. And we have this one, which has like a version of Stunt Cycle and some sort of car racing. I'll look at that. And then we have more of like a Breakout kind of video pinball type of deal going on there. It looks like mostly Breakout type games. And so we'll take a look at that. This one contains 10 games, apparently, number 1 through number 10. Number 3 doesn't have a numbering system, and number 1 looks like it has 7 games. Yeah, and and the car and the bike has 4 games. Okay. So then we get a manual, etc. Licensed in plastic. We have a very clean, old school switch box from Japan. Although it says switch box and antenna, so is it really from Japan? Who knows? I never quite understood people in the whole English language thing. We have a Bandai TV jack AC adapter. It's kind of cool. AC 100 volt in to 120 milliamps out with 11 volts. So weird. And then we got the main unit itself, which looks very nice and clean. This blue detachable controllers. These controllers are analog. You have full range of motion, and they do twist, although I'm not sure if that actually does anything. It probably doesn't. Only the Bally system and the F system, I know, had controllers that twist that actually did something. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to wire this up and see if I can get a picture out of it on like those high channels like I mentioned. And we'll switch over to the video side and we'll see what we got. Here we go. So here we are with the TV Jack 5000. I got a halfway decent picture here. At least it's stable and not staticky. I'm going to try and play this game. Looks like it's a version of Stunt Cycle. I'm going to try to remove this controller so I can play without leaning forward. Okay. Now there's these switches on here. Don't know what any of them do. There's a space bar. Let me see if I press 1. Doesn't seem to do anything. That's interesting. So the right controller is actually controlling the game, not the left. They hadn't decided yet, I guess, back then which controller they wanted to make do stuff. So I can pop a wheelie, pushing to the left. Oh, how did I get going? I'm trying to figure it out. Weird. So, no. It's like really weird. It's like if I push the button, nothing really happens. If I push to the right, nothing happens. If I push to the left, it does a little wheelie. If I push up, nothing happens. If I push down, nothing happens. If I push left, right, so it's kind of like if I don't know, it's very strange. Because like I see myself race across the screen. I get that part. I'm not seeing what's causing that to happen. I can't reproduce it. It just kind of happens. Weird. Now the controller doesn't, the button just doesn't seem to do anything. Let me press 1, enter, clear the score. Maybe I used all 3 of my lives or something. I think that's like I'm shifting somehow. Like it's shifting into gear, but I don't know how to do it. Okay. I did that. What did I do to do that? So hold holding the button and pushing up gets me here. That wrecked me out. Let's see. Push the button, push up. That wheelies me out. Let's see. Push the button, push up. No. Push the button. It's like some sort of weird turbo boost or something. I'm going to hold the button down, push up, push down, up. Push to the left, nothing. Push up, push down. Oh, it's because I'm out of lives again. Okay, hold the button down, push up. Starts going. Go, 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 go. And then, woo! Hauled ass right at the end. It's kind of dumb. Push the button, push up. Push the button, push up. And just wait. Oh well. Anyway, all right, so let's see. Now, I think there's probably more than this game on this particular unit. So let's shut it off. Let's turn this dip switches on. Let's see if we can get something different here. Maybe I have to hold the button down while I turn it on. No. Oh, there's like landmines now. Oh. I don't know what any of those do. What does that do? All right. I don't know. If there's a way to switch games on this, I'm not sure how to do it. I don't speak the Japanese. Let's try a different cartridge. Maybe that'll be more helpful. So that was number 3. It might just be the bike game. I'm not sure. Let's look at number 1 because this has a variety of games on it. Yep, that's our colored version of Pong. Four-dimensional movement. Both players. Both controllers work pretty good. Pretty clean. Woo! Oh. Okay, so this is like highlight. Okay, so let's see, it's number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, number 8, number 9. All right, so just variations of Pong that we've seen before. That's fine, it's to be expected. You can also toggle the difficulty by changing the controller paddle sizes around. Okay. And lastly, let's look at this Breakout game. And it's pretty crude. Woo, that thing's hauling ass. Did you see how fast that went? Jesus. Oh my God. All right, nobody's winning this. Holy smokes. It's like for professionals only. All right, let's game 2, 3, 4. That's interesting. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's interesting because on the box it looks more like Breakout, but when you're actually playing this game, it doesn't look anything like Breakout. It says there's 10 games. I mean, none of these games actually look like the games on the case. It's kind of weird. But, all right, well, anyway, we're not going to decipher all the Japanese that's going on here with this today. But it does work, and I'm pretty proud that I was able to get it tuned in on channel 95. So, hey, some victories. TV Jack 5000. It's a keeper. It's in good shape. Little piece of history here. Outputs the Pong chips on each cartridge. It's kind of interesting. In the 1970s, it's all you had. You didn't have a lot of choice. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.